Good afternoon. I think it's time to call the meeting, the Residents Council meeting. The first thing on our agenda is the invocation. Charlotte, if you could come forward, please. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Today, I haven't prepared a prayer. Instead, I want to read you a poem that I love, and to me, it is a prayer. It's called, He Loves You. It's amazing and incredible, but it's true as can be. God loves and understands us all, and that means you and me. His grace is all sufficient for both the young and the old, for the lonely and the timid, for the brash and for the bold. His love knows no exceptions, so never feel excluded. No matter who or what you are, your name has been included, And no matter what your past has been, trust God to understand. And no matter what your problem is, just place it in His hand. For in all our unloveliness, this great God loves us still. He loved us since the world began. What's more, He always will. Helen Steiner Rice.
Thank you very much. The first issue, before we move on to the agenda, is I've been reminded by more than one that those who are up here speaking, please talk directly into this rather than over here like this, so that the people at home can hear the speaking. Apparently, there have been problems in the past. Welcome to our August council meeting. As you are most probably aware, the entire last year has been filled with activities and special programs focusing on campus themes and events as we have celebrated 25th anniversary. As do all good things, the monthly celebrations will be coming to a climax in September, culminating in a couple of gala days. These will include celebrations for both team members and residents. The next month's issue of The Informer, which most of us have already received, has detailed information for the September 23 and 24 dates. Music will abound around and about the campus, and various food stations and exciting menu items will be a part of the celebration. On August 9, Eleanor Moore, hands raised, joined the administration staff as Cedar Field's executive assistant, thus moving into Renee Langley's position. Before coming to be with us, Eleanor worked for Habitat for Humanity of the Charlotte, North Carolina region. And before that, she owned her own business for several years. She has a welcoming spirit, excellent skills, and a passion for serving people. Please join us in welcoming her into our Cedar Field family. On August the 18th, a revised version of Cedar Field's forward plan was issued, and several of the highlights were mentioned at that day's televised chat session. Among them was a requirement that all independent residents are now to wear masks while in any campus area. Additionally, a booster vaccination may soon be available. You may want to see the full document for further information, and I'm sure there's some available in the admin suite. As to the immediate future, if you would like to attend Michael's Wednesday chats, we are all invited to attend in person. A plan for town hall meetings, which has been brought up here, is not up and running quite yet, but in the meantime, questions are being welcomed at the chat sessions by Michael. Two other issues, please, before we move on. Michael and his family are on vacation this week at Sandbridge, and we hope that they're having wonderful sunny weather and enjoying the pool and the ocean. Secondly, because he isn't here, we are welcoming Matt Dameron, who will update us on several key issues before we move ahead. Matt, you're on.
Good afternoon, everyone. Eldon stole a couple of things that I was going to talk about, so I will quickly gloss over those. But just some, we're going to start with a few COVID updates and then go into a few administrative updates. So, as Eldon mentioned, the Cedarfield Forward Plan, we did update that, and the two main changes there were independent living residents wearing masks and asking all contractors to provide proof of vaccination. So I won't go into that anymore. As far as here at Cedarfield with our active cases, I know you all have received a couple of memos recently about these breakthrough cases, and you've heard a lot about that. So there were three situations. The first one was a private duty personnel member that was over in Morning Glory, our memory support neighborhood. That person has since recovered and is all clear. That person never had any symptoms. They just happened to be tested positive. All of the residents and team members in that area have been tested a couple of different times, and there are no positive cases or anyone with any signs or symptoms, so that's a good thing. Another one that we let you know about was an independent living resident in the main building here, and that person has since cleared off of our radar and is recovered. We do still have one positive case in the cottages, but that person is actually scheduled to come off tomorrow. So knock on wood, as of tomorrow, unless something changes, we should not have any active cases here at Cedarfield. So that's a very good thing. A little bit about vaccine distribution. I mentioned last time that and Michael's been talking about it too, we've had some Moderna mini clinics here at Cedarfield where Connie McGowan, our infection control nurse, has been giving the Moderna vaccine to team members and residents that have wanted it. Just yesterday, she gave out the second dose to a few team members and a couple of residents, so those are adding to our fully vaccinated numbers. And then just last week, she gave the first dose to another group of team members, about 7 more team members there. So we're making progress there, and that set of team members will get their second vaccine right before the September 13th deadline, which I will talk about here in just a second. And we're still doing weekly testing for team members that are unvaccinated at this point every Wednesday afternoon. Mr. Rucker did mention the booster shots, and there's a lot going on in the news even today about those booster shots. So we are talking to the health department, Walgreens, who helped us out with the original vaccine clinics. I've reached out to my contact there, kind of waiting for some guidance from her. And we're also working with our pharmacy, Remedy, to see exactly what we need to do, how the rollout is going to be. It's kind of one of those things right now where the government says everyone can get a booster, but we don't really have the plan as of yet as to how that's going to roll out. So as soon as we know, we will make sure that you all know that information. The vaccine mandate, that's been a big point of discussion here on campus and throughout all of our Pinnacle Living communities over the last few weeks. I know that Michael has spoken about it on live chats as well. So team members and contractors and vendors are mandated to receive or actually be fully vaccinated by September 13th, Monday, September 13th, or they will no longer be employed by Cedarfield and Pinnacle Living. Like I said, we've been giving vaccines to team members that have wanted them. We also have quite a few team members going out to the local community to get those vaccines as well. And I think, was it yesterday or the day before, when Pfizer was officially approved, fully approved by the FDA, that also helped out. We did have a few people that were waiting for that final stamp of approval before getting that vaccine. So that's definitely helped. But as Michael mentioned, and it's still the case even today, there will be over 20 team members that work across many different departments here at Cedarfield that have decided that they are not receiving the vaccine, and they will be leaving Cedarfield by the 13th of September. That total list, there are 50 people on that, team members on that list. This includes the 20 that I just spoke about, that are kind of in a different state of the vaccine. They've either received one vaccine and waiting for the second, or they have been fully vaccinated and we're just waiting to receive that confirmation in our HR department. So we're still working with a total of around 50, a little over 50 team members, and we're hoping to chip away at that 20 or more group as well, and hopefully get some of them to cross the finish line with us. All right, so some administrative updates. First one is the generator, and we've been working on that generator. As Allison and Eleanor can tell you, they did quite a bit of testing yesterday and today. It's nice and noisy when that thing fires up, but we've had the generator itself has needed some repairs. It's quite old, so it needed those repairs. We've had the temporary generator hooked up to that. That's what that big, almost storage unit looking trailer out there is. That work should be done today. They were doing a lot of testing yesterday and today to ensure that everything's functioning properly. They should finish that up today, reconnect everything, do a little bit more testing, and then move that trailer on out of there. So it took a little longer than expected, but we're working on that. So now the next plan, now that is done, is we're actually contracting with an electrical engineer to come in and run full load tests on the generator, actually trace, because things have been added and subtracted over the many years that it's been there, actually trace, make a full listing of everything that is on that generator, and then figure out how much more of a load it can possibly take. There's been a lot of talk about the D-Wing generator and the red plugs in resident apartments. So our first step is to see how much that current generator can hold. So once this trailer pulls off, we're going to start working on that project and determine what we need to add and honestly what we need to subtract. We've learned that there's some interesting things on that generator that probably don't need to be there in case of an emergency as well. So that's where we are with the generator. Kind of along that same line, this is addressing a question from last time, and actually the Health Services Committee about residents in independent living that are on oxygen or a CPAP or many other machines that they have in their individual apartments. The fix right now is that the clinic actually keeps track of all of the people that require oxygen, CPAP, etc. And that list is with the supervisor, our supervisor, every evening, every weekend, so that in case something does happen, we are able to contact those people and get to them as quickly as possible and make accommodations for them. They also have a plan in place if we know that a big snowstorm is coming or a hurricane, things of that nature. They actually will contact these people ahead of time to ensure that we have a contingency plan for those residents in the meantime. So the one thing that I will say is the list is only as good as the information that we're given. So, the vast majority of our residents are independent living residents, and they don't always tell us if they've started oxygen treatments or on CPAP, etc. So please let Ann Hopper know in the clinic. I actually just talked to her about it this morning. Please let her know if you need to be on that list, so that we can make sure you're well taken care of in that instance. Moving on to the pool. So the pool, as you know, is shut down for repairs. It's actually a warranty issue with the roof in that area. They have been, believe it or not, they have been working behind the scenes with the subcontractors and resolving a few warranty issues. I've been told that as of today, they are actually in the pool area, actively working and setting up shop basically to do those repairs. So hopefully it goes a lot faster than they were predicting with their 6 to 8 week timeline. So we'll see how that progresses moving forward. A little bit about Comcast. That's our favorite word, and one of our favorite words in this building is Comcast. I spoke to Jack, and there have been over 200 work orders just within the last month or so, specifically revolving around the cable television and the in-house Touchtown channels. I think some of you realize that once you tried to tune in to a live chat or the slideshow on Touchtown, that it would kind of freeze up and wouldn't allow you to change back to regular Comcast channels. Maintenance did figure out kind of a workaround to reset it, but they would have to go to each individual apartment. So they have been diligently working with Comcast. Comcast has been out here twice, and they feel as though, just yesterday, with their latest visit, that they have fixed the issue in regards to the in-house stations and turning back to regular cable television. So if you do have any issues with that specific issue, still please reach out to maintenance and let them know so that they can take an individual look at your situation. But hopefully that particular issue has been resolved. Atrium Cafe, we have hired an Atrium Cafe supervisor, and she is actually in new team member orientation right this very second upstairs. So with that person coming on, that's kind of our first little domino. That person is going to be tasked with recruiting more people to work in that space and also getting the space ready to reopen again. It's been a while since that has happened. So we're still not done yet, but at least we have we've taken that first step, and we're pretty confident that that person is going to help lead us in the right direction and get some good people down there so that we can open that up in the near future. 25th anniversary, Mr. Rucker spoke about that as well. I won't harp on that, but really excited about the 23rd for team members, a big event for them, and the 24th for you all. It's going to be a great day, and there's also some amazing special dinners planned on both of those nights for the residents. Along the lines of the 25th anniversary, our marketing and philanthropy offices are gathering some interesting facts about Cedarfield. To work on a project that they're doing. So if you have any interesting facts about Cedarfield, especially our residents that have been here a long time, that might know, how things were in previous days, how meals were served in previous days. Some examples, I know Ms. Rucker gave us how many flower arrangements are put across Cedarfield in any given year, which is a tremendous amount, by the way. Some of our team members are looking at how many team members we had from when we first opened until now, residents from around the first time until now, how many meals we serve each day, things like that. So if you have any interesting facts about Cedarfield in your back pocket, please reach out to Allison, Zach, or Christy Walsh-Smith and let them know. That would be very helpful. A couple more updates, and this is from the neighborhoods over in Health Services. So mentioned last time that the construction wall was coming down, and it has in fact come down in that water damaged area, and we've had our first resident move back to that that space that had been displaced during that renovation, and we're actually going to have another one, maybe two, move back next week. The dining room is also back open, which is very exciting for our assisted living folks. There are some noise issues in that area. Lots of echoing at this point. So we're working with our design team to kind of come up with some creative ways to mitigate that echoing and the loud noises in that area. And the nurses station, which was relocated to the programming activity room, has moved back to where it was, which is essentially right across from the dining room there. I mentioned last month that last little update for you. I mentioned last month that we have two new neighborhood leaders and clinical leader. Melissa Whiteside is the clinical leader in Morning Glory Memory Support, and Lauren Burnett has started with us. She is the neighborhood leader in Morning Glory, clinical leader, neighborhood leader. They have both officially gone through their orientation and are hitting the ground running, and I'm very excited to have them over there. In addition to that, we have Letitia Hayes, who is an LPN and will actually be a clinical leader in our healthcare area, and she started today and is going through general orientation. So the silver lining in all of this is we are unfortunately losing some team members, but we have 9 people in new team member orientation today. So we have 9 new team members that are starting with us today that will help start filling those voids. So we still have a ways to go, but that's definitely a step in the right direction. All right. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Lots of information. Whoever took all these notes down, please get them all copied and give everybody a copy. No, we do have someone who's do the minutes. All right, we're moving into committee reports now. Communications, is Roe here? I don't think we have that report. Dining services, Jean, I know you're here, but nothing, well, we heard some good news at least with having somebody to be there. All we need is worker bees down there in the atrium. Mr. Whitaker is not with us. Facilities, I talked to Mr. Nagel and he's not here. Finance, we have Carol, and she has a report. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you. The Finance Committee met on August 12th. James Green presented the financial reports for the 12 months ended May 31st, 2021. Revenue was slightly below budget for two reasons: COVID, which affected our occupancy rate, and the delay of D-Wing opening. Expenses ended slightly below budget. There was an increase in administrative expenses due to COVID and an increase over budget for neighborhood household expenses due to salaries. Cedarfield showed a positive result for the year of $15.5 million. In non-operating charges is an amount that shows the increased value of investments as unrealized gain of approximately $6 million, which is included in this result. Cedarfield's statements of activities showed interest of bonds paid was $5.5 million. Principal payments on bonds shown on the Pinnacle statements included payments for 2012 bonds of approximately $2 million and for 2019 B bonds of $9.5 million. James also gave an update on the amount spent on capital projects for the year, which was $4 million, about $2 million over budget. The committee had several questions related to Pinnacle Living Obligated Group Chart of Accounts and the statements. We reviewed the results of the different entities under Pinnacle and noted the occupancy rate decrease had affected all of them, except for Windsor Mead. We requested more information on the entity called Hermitage Capital and Reserve Corporation. After the audited statements are presented, we ask that the financial team at Pinnacle be invited to meet with us to review their statements. Also discussed was the percentage of increase needed for dining services salaries, which is projected to be 3 to 5%, and healthcare salary increase of 3 to 8%. We also noted that we are still in process of being reimbursed by insurance for construction problems. Attached to our minutes is a copy of Cedarfield's Statement of Activities for the period ending May 31st, 2021, and some other financial information. We also provided information about the monies Cedarfield has donated to the Samaritan Program and other funds for the fiscal year. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carol. Moving on, Louisa Rucker, I know that she's not here at the moment. Gardening, Susan Sessoms? No report. No health services, I think there's no report. Library, Colin, not a report yet. No report on religious life today. Safety, I know he's not here. Welcoming, Nellie, do you have something to present? Thank you.
Five new members, or new residents, excuse me, have been welcomed to Cedar Field since our last council meeting. Jenny Hendren moved to apartment 291. Jenny moved to Cedar Field from Glen Allen. Dick and Kathy Carlin moved to 10,004 Cedar Field Court. They moved from Okeechobee, South Carolina. Bill Rowe and Doris Dow moved into 2177 Cedar Field Lane. They moved to Cedar Field from Greenville, Delaware. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wellness and Leisure, Barbara Rose is unable to be with us. Back row, Jim Trummeter is here.
This work? Thank you. The Wellness Committee extended wishes to Barbara Rose and Karen Hoffman for improving health conditions. Just a couple of excerpts that will make it go a little bit quicker. We've had a long-standing problem of residents reporting, I didn't know that was going on today. So we have proposed a resolution to put a bulletin, small, attractive bulletin board outside Fellowship Hall and the dining entrance, telling what's on that night so that people will be reminded. Hope it works. Veterans Day observance will be on November 8th, which is a Monday. That has to be done to accommodate some participants. And in November, we will have a program in Fellowship Hall honoring our local veterans. We are in discussion about how to properly observe 9/11. Any questions?
I don't have any further questions for you.
So I will continue with the VACA report, again excerpting just certain parts. We had our meeting last Friday. Treasurer says we're good with our funds, although there was a membership decline in the pandemic. Delegate Willits advisors are working on the ombudsman bill, and we are providing information to them to make it easiest for the other members of Virginia House to understand it. During an open discussion at the end of the meeting, several communities reported searching for and having new directors. Among them, Windsor Mead announced that they are looking for a new director. Interestingly, the search committee will be headed by a professional recruiter, not a Pinnacle officer, nor a council member. Thought that was interesting. Windsor Mead also noted that they have negotiated for a resident member to participate on their board. Oh, the resident will be selected, this is important, was selected from 3 nominees made by the Residents' Council. The community of Cedar Field members, that's been members of VACRA living here, have had 2 meetings with Eldon, Michael, and Chris concerning getting a resident on the board here. That has not been very well accepted, and we have agreed to a working group, including members of Residents Council. Questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jim. Moving into the area reps, is Marty here? Any report? Andy Carter's, Area 2.
The first item is, now that management has indicated they will notify residents what action they will take, if any, on suggestions from residents, we submit the following. Security is only good as its weakest link. The wood fence running from the pond to 3 Chopped is missing boards and allowing easy access to the campus. On several occasions, people have been seen passing through the fence. It has been suggested a tasteful metal fence would be constructed for added security for the campus. The second item relates to COVID-19. We have again been notified that an unnamed resident has COVID-19. Apparently, due to privacy issues, we have not been told which of our neighbors has been infected. Is it possible to request the infected resident to waive in writing the privacy issue so we know who to limit our contact with and reduce the possibility of further infections?
Thank you. Sally Bingley, I think she's not here. Nancy Hoffheimer's not. Joe Peavy? Nope, not a report. Area 6, I think, does not. Area 7, we have Ann Williams.
Before the last meeting, one of our residents had mentioned the frustration and exasperation of using our cell phones in our units. So I did a brief survey, and of the 14 apartments, 13 responded, and 11 of those have difficulty with phone calls being dropped. We brought this up at the Facilities Committee, and Michael Shaw indicated that a couple of years ago, Verizon had said it would cost Cedarfield $250,000 to put a tower, and it would benefit not only Cedarfield residents, but any other Henrico residents in the area. He therefore felt it should be Verizon's responsibility, not Cedarfield, but he said he would check with them again. A couple of people have reached out to me to say, is your phone set to Wi-Fi, and is your Wi-Fi your own personal Wi-Fi, not just Cedarfield? Yes, my phone is set to Wi-Fi, and it is my personal Wi-Fi, not just the Cedarfield. I will, in the next day or two, call Comcast and see if they can give any additional suggestions, but at least first floor of the main building is having difficulty with its cell phones. Thank you.
Thank you. Area 8, is there anyone? No. Area 9? Area 10? Tim Moore? I don't know. No report. Area 11? Don Branson.
The Area 11 residents understand that the answers to these questions will be forthcoming, but we'd like the questions to be on the record. Can you provide a timeline for removal of the construction dumpster at Parkview entrance? In the future, can it be moved to the upper parking lot? Has a date been determined for repair of the water pipe leaks on the second floor at the Parkview entrance? And number 3, we applaud management for increasing safety at Cedarfield by mandating COVID vaccination for the employees. Will you be willing to apply the same standard to future resident applicants? Thank you.
Thank you. Area 12, no one's here. Area 13, no. Area 14, I think Peggy's here, but no report. Area 15, everything's fine. Area 16, no report. Area 17, no, I don't think so. Area 18, that's long here, no. Area 19, they're not here. Area 20, I see someone ready to step right up. Cynthia Seal.
I have good news to report. On Friday, August the 6th, the residents of D Wing, which is Area 20, enjoyed a wonderful picnic, and we held it in the clubhouse. Due to the shortage of staff in dining, we were unable to coordinate any meal plan through them. So we had lots of enthusiasm because we had set this date back in early June. We had lots of enthusiasm for the get-together and a picnic-type venture. So I challenged a couple of our men to please put forth plans for the picnic. They researched and they made arrangements, and we had a complete, delicious dinner. Sally Ward provided a lovely table arrangements for our occasion. We had the food brought in because we had a large enough combination of food items to meet the standards to be able to bring the food in. And I was especially pleased that we had all 18 of our residents present. And we also, I felt real strongly about some of the people that were rather disabled, and I wanted to make sure that they felt comfortable coming. So I inquired of Will Stern about the availability of using a Cedarfield bus, and he was more than pleased to accommodate us. And so that was like the icing on the cake. And everyone enjoyed the evening, and I highly recommend anyone do it. The problem is the clubhouse is not able to be reserved right now, I think, due to the CNA training, but it will reopen, and just grab a date and go for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. Area 21. Jan, did you have a report? No report. All right, thank everyone for being here. Is there any old business to come before the group? Is there any new business?
I have a question that I didn't ask Mr. Challenger when he was up there. Is there anything that residents can do to get this representative on the Pinnacle Board?
Can you come forward, or I'll bring this to you. It's probably easier. It's hard to hear without.
Let him go.
Well, first I'll put in a plug for the VACRA organization. We're kind of leading a charge on this, and the more members we have, the more influence we have. Also, the more members we have, the quicker we can research what is going on in other communities and find out what would be maybe the best way to approach it here. Right now, it certainly appears that Chris Henderson and Michael are not very receptive, but we hope we can change their minds.
Thank you.
Is there any other business to discuss? Any new business? All right, thank you all again, and the meeting is hereby adjourned.